Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to tie a traditional bowline, and since I'm right-handed, I'm going to go ahead and put my standing part over my left hand. I'm going to make a round turn, and I'm going to spread it apart just like that. I'm going to take my tail, or my working end, from the bottom back around and down through again. And to dress the knot, I'm going to grab the side of the loop, the working end, standing part, and pull. And that's what your bowline's going to look like. Okay, we'll do it again. Trap it over my left hand, make my loop over my round turn, find my end, spread it apart, do the bottom, back around, and back down again. Grab these two strands here, this strand, and pull. And that's your finished bowline knot. Now, since a bowline is prone to come loose if it's vibrated or wind flops it around, we want to tie safeties when we can. And we have a couple choices to do that. One is to do a double overhand safety like this. Okay, that's going to be tied on the loop. Now we'll do that again. And remember, we're going to work from around this point back towards the knot. So one round turn, second round turn. So you got your two overhands. Then you're going to stick the tail down through the center. And then as you dress that knot, push it towards the bowline. Okay, and that'll be your first safety. That's one option. Your second option is the Yosemite finish. And what we're going to do is we're going to follow this strand right here, and then we're going to come out through this gap where my finger is. We're going to come around, hit that gap. Okay, now what's important is to dress this knot correctly is to grab the side of the loop, standing part, and pull. Tighten it that way, and then while you still have it held with the loop, grab the end and pull. And this is what you're going to end up with. So let's untie that and retie it real quick again. Take the tail, wrap it around, come through that hole right there. We're going to dress our knot, and this is going to be it. Okay, so that's a traditional way of tying a bowline. And all knot tying is about consistency, and this is the way you should learn how to tie it at first. There are shortcuts, which I'm going to show, but being consistent matters, because you can visualize a knot exactly how it's supposed to go. Okay, so learn this method first. There are shortcuts, and we're going to get into our first shortcut right now. The easiest way, shortcut, is to take the working end, put it over the standing part, and twist. And what that does is it creates half your knot for you automatically. Now all I have to do to finish that off is this right here. So, and you see videos of guys doing speed bowlines. This is what they're doing. They're throwing it over and going really fast with it. But even if you do slow speed, it saves a lot of time. Now, practical application of that is to tie it around yourself. So if I wrap this around my waist, and I'm gonna make this loop big just so the camera picks it up. You can make it a lot tighter. It's the same principle. So imagine I come around. Okay. See, I form my loop, my hand stays in the loop. Then I'm gonna swing it around, and then I'm gonna pull my wrist through that loop I created, and I've got a bowline. And if you practice this, it can be very, very fast. And there's no reason you can't put your arms around somebody, you know, a victim, and do this too. You're gonna bring it around, bring it through, and then you're gonna have a bowline around you. But the most common way of using that method is a running bowline. So if I wanted to tie around this tree right here, I could come around, what I want to do is make a loop around this standing part. So I'm going to take the tail and I'm going to twist just like we did before, come around, and what that does is it forms a bowline around the standing part, and then you can tension this up. And a lot of arborists will use this when they're chunking wood down. And that's just a running bowline. All it is a loop captured. So we'll do that one more time. And all this involves a lot of practice, so you can visualize what you're doing. So I'm coming around. I'm gonna grab this. With a wrist motion, I'm gonna twist. And I can make this loop as big or as small as I want it while I'm still loose. Come around, come through, grab these two strands, grab that strand, dress it, and there you go. So if I were to pull up on that, that's gonna cinch down pretty good. So that's our first shortcut. There's other shortcuts which I'm going to show right now. When I untie that, I'm going to need it later. Okay, so I got a strand up in this tree already. I'm going to show you what is called a snap bowline. So if we make a round turn like we normally do, and we bring it up and we pull a bite through just like that, and this is pretty handy for really long tails. You can stick that through that loop you created. Okay, and what I have left is the loop I'm going to be creating. I'm going to grab these two strands here, grab this upper strand, and I'm going to pull, I'm going to dress it. And there's my bowline. Okay, so let's do that again. So we want to make a loop like we normally do. Bring it up, pull a strand through. Okay, we can hold it pinched right there. Take all this extra rope here and stick it through that loop we just created. pinch these two right here and pull, and that's going to create a bowline. So let's apply that to a real situation where we would use it. Go ahead and untie this. So if I wanted to tie this rope around a tree with a bowline, easy way to do that is with a snap bowline. I got my tail and I got my standing part. If I put the standing part over the back of my hand and grab forward, I'm going to automatically make a loop. With my hand still in that loop, I want to grab a section and pull. Take this tail, stick it through, kind of adjust it up a little bit, grab these two strands here, and then go ahead and pull. And it's going to give you a perfect bowline every time. And once you practice this, this is very fast. It's a whole lot quicker than doing it the traditional method. So I wrap it around the tree, reach forward, grab a bite, pull it forward, stick this through that bite I just created, double itself, pull my standing part, and then I've got a bowline. So there's a good example of a snap bowline. Okay, let's go on to something a little bit harder, but still practical. If I take this same rope I just used, and let's say I want to tie it around this tree, and I've got my rope up in the tree. And an arborist may use this. He may want to climb this strand of rope if this rope is over a strong enough limb. Okay, but we want to anchor it to the tree we're climbing. What we can do is wrap it around the trunk at least 3 times. And try to keep it neat. Anytime you do rope work, try to keep it neat, because you can visualize things a whole lot better if you keep it nice and orderly. All right, so okay, so there's my 3 strands. So I'm going to take my working end and I'm going to come up from the bottom. See how I kept it kind of loose? There's a reason for that. Bring it through the bottom. Okay, and just leave it in place for now. So that's what you should have at this point. This part, you want to grab the strand coming around the tree, keep it straight, make a loop with it. Then once you get that loop, just twist it to the right, so it crosses over where my thumb is. And what you want to do is take this loop and keep in your crossover from the top to the bottom. Stick it through. Okay, this is what you should have at this point. You want to put the loop up here, pull a bite. Through that bite, take this tail, stick it through. So everything looks kind of goofy, but once you pull it tight, it all makes sense. So pull all this tight and dress your knot. Pull this tight, and that's not going anywhere. Okay, and this is called a bowline on a coil. All you've done is tied a bowline and capturing those 3 coils. And your tail is so long enough you don't need a safety. And at this point, if I wanted to climb this rope, I could. It's not going anywhere. Bowline on a coil. Okay, so another variation of that is I've got a ladder set up over here, And if I wanted to anchor the bottom of this ladder, say we were on concrete or something slick and we're worried about the ladder kicking out on us, we can bring this rope around. Okay, about so long, and the lower the better. Find the center, pull the center towards you. We want this tail right here to be just a little bit long. Now, normally we would tie a round turn like this. For this scenario, we want to do the opposite, turn this way, because we're doing a snap bowline again. Put it in the center. Well, you got to hold on to it. Okay. I'm going to put it in the center. Capture the standing part. That bite you just pulled through, just like all the other snap bowlines, you want to stick your tail through. You want to hold these two strands and dress your knot. And what it is, there's a strand captured in the center, so these two legs can equalize. Okay, so if I come back and pull, tie this to a building or a tree or something, that way my ladder can't kick out. So let's do that one more time since I dropped the rope. Make sure you understand. Alright, you can have looking like this. You're going to form your bite or your round turn like this. Come in, pull it forward, take a bite, stick your working end through, grab these two strands and just pull and dress your knot. Okay, and while it's still loose, put a little tension on it, and these two legs will self-equalize because you got a strand in the center that's movable. Now if I want to tie a safety on this, I got my tail's long enough, this strand won't move, so I can tie a double overhand safety on that. Okay, so now I can go ahead and tie this back and my ladder won't kick out. Alright, one more thing I want to show, then the video will be done. If you can tie a regular bowline, you can tie a bowline on a bite. We'll use this green rope for that. Take a nice big loop, just like your traditional bowline. Do a round turn. Take your loop, come up to the bottom. Instead of going around the standing part, what you're going to do is you're going to take it down. You're going to stick your hand through there and grab these two strands. Turn it upside down, flip this over, and just dress your knot. And what that's going to do is it's going to give you two equal loops. This is called a bowline on a bite. So there's another knot you can use. Alright, hope this helps. Practice, be consistent, learn it the old hard way first before you try all the shortcuts, and good luck until the next one.